All right, we're going to get started. Once again, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Workwell's very first virtual lunch and learn of 2021. We are excited to be starting a new year and hope that you will join us for all of the public events that we have coming up over the next 12 months. And we are obviously very happy that you have joined us today for this informative presentation on planning for better profits for your business here in the new year. My name is William Hatfield. I am the community manager of the Workwell, and at some point we may have our general manager, Miranda Stewart, who will also join us as a co-host for this event. For today's webinar, we have Terra Bohlmann, a business strategist who helps business owners accomplish in 1 year what would normally take 5 years. As the creator of the Business Map Method, she has crafted over 100 custom business models for clients who have gone on to build 6- and 7-figure businesses. Through her speaking, training, coaching, and live event productions, she has impacted thousands of business owners across the United States and Canada, so she is international. Terra has been featured in publications and podcasts, including Forbes, the Huffington Post, the Sig Run Show, and she is also the host of her own podcast, the Fast Track Woman podcast with Terra Bohlmann. A little bit personally about Terra, she is obsessed with collecting Chanel brochures, or brooches, not brochures. I guess you need a brochure to order the brooches, yeah. And traveling, but she always loves to come back home to Houston, Texas, where she lives with her husband, her 3 boys, and a spoiled Australian Shepherd, and also an entitled rescue cat. So you can tell that she has a servant's heart. And you can learn more about Terra at her website, which is terrabohlmann.com. Terra is spelled TerraBohlmann.com. So, and Terra actually, on a personal note, she had previously been a full-time on-site member here at the Workwell, and so she is coming back to the community, and we always love to see her, and also love to see. Sorry, my personal. Also love to see Amy back, who gave our presentation in February. So thank you guys for being here and giving this presentation. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please post them in the chat box at the bottom of your screen. And at the end of the presentation, I will lead a Q&A session with Terra to ask some of those questions that you guys are going to post. If we don't get a chance to answer or address your question, I will be sure to follow up with you via an email with an answer. And also in the chat box, I'm going to be sharing ways that you can connect and link with Terra via her LinkedIn, social media, and her website. And I'm also going to include a link to the Workwells in our Facebook page, so you can stay up to date with all the happenings and things that are going on here at the Workwell. We are also going to be recording this session, and it will be posted to our website probably within about 7 to 10 days. And I will also be emailing you all, our participants, a link to that video. So with that being said, I do have to make one little technical change here to get Terra's slides up and running. But basically, we are going to be turning it over to Terra. So welcome.
Wow. All right. It feels so good to be back training in person. You know, we've got a small group here at the Workwell, and I am so excited. I love teaching planning. I taught, I think, a similar workshop last year here in January. But I don't know about you, but for me, I feel like January's already went like that. And so this is the perfect time to plan out for 2021, so we get your annual plan together so that you can plan your way to more profit in 2021. I completely understand that 2020 was rough for a lot of entrepreneurs, so we want to make that different here in 2021. All right, so I like to do a take note. Feel free to turn off any distractions that you have. I've found that you have an amazing learning experience if you get rid of the phone, turn off the things, close the windows, because I want this next 45 minutes to be about you. I want you to leave knowing that you have a much better intention for your 2021. So if you can turn it off, that makes it so much easier. Here's a mind hack for you. You can write down things. Like if you have the people on site have a workbook, and even if you have a notepad for your current workbook, for your planning guide, I would just recommend getting a pen, because when you put pen to paper, it helps with your brain and retention. It enforces those ahas, which I learned from a psychology standpoint. Also, support is available in the chat. So we have William that's going to be working the chat. So if you have questions, we have technical issues, feel free to pop in there and he'll be serving you. I just want to take this just a quick minute to say thank you to the Workwell for having me. I had the best experience when I had my own private office here. I started as a co-working where I had the desk, and very quickly I realized, you know what, I need to have my own office. So I remember, I think I lasted maybe 2 weeks, and I went into the office and said, all right, how much to upgrade me for an office with a door? So it was a fantastic community. So if you're tired of working from home and you need some space, highly recommend you come check them out. All right. You're in the right place today. If you believe that there's no quick fixes or magic bullets, but you're tired of spinning your wheels so hard, right? So oftentimes as business owners, there's a million things to do, and we need to just get really clear and focused on a couple of things so that we're not stressed out. You want a clear path to more clarity, more confidence, and you're ready to take full control of your future. Right? We have to be able to feel that, because when we have that confidence just internal, we also show up in a bigger way for our customers as well as our future customers too. And you're ready to take imperfect action by baby stepping through fears and doubts so that you can live the life of your dreams, right? It's not about making quantum leaps, however, that's a thing. But if you feel more comfortable, momentum is the way to go, and you just baby step it through. Even sometimes we do things in our business and we get scared, right? And you want an annual plan that feels doable and sets you up for success in 2021. All right, everyone in the right place? Yeah, cool. Here's what you're gonna learn today. You're going to learn 4 main things. The first one, I'm gonna teach you the secrets to predictable profits, right? We're gonna use the past, no matter if it was good, bad, ugly, in your favor. We're also going to learn how to plan like a 7-figure pro with ease. So I am so blessed to have amazing clients that are in the 6-7-figure category. And this is the same type of planning I do with them privately. So giving it to you here today. You're gonna have a doable plan that is gonna give you a ton of clarity. Then you also are getting the fill in the blank annual planning guide. I'm a psycho about having a workbook, because you can learn something, but if you don't apply it to your business, it doesn't mean much, right? You're just learning more information. I want you to actually tailor this for your business. And you can have a sneak peek inside the cockpit. As you might be able to tell, a lot of my brand is focused around travel and airplanes and whatnot. And if you want to have a free strategy session, I'll show you how to do that at the end. All right, I have this as a stay till the end bonus, as a bribe, just to stay with us today, William, but I know a lot of you have your annual planning guide. I just invite you to use it. Like, you'll see in certain areas where you can just start filling it in. This isn't for anyone else. I'm not gonna look at it. No one else is gonna look at it. This is for you, right? So you can treat it like your journal. All right, so I'm Tara. I'm a business strategist, I'm a travel enthusiast, I'm a Chanel brooch stalker. My husband wishes I was a Chanel brochure stalker. He would love that. And I'm also a Starbucks addict. I already had mine, I'm trying to quit. I have this love-hate relationship with Starbucks. So it's a little bit about me. I help business owners stop winging it and board the fast track to success. I'm here to help people go faster, feel stronger, and just show up smarter in their business. So I'm not just the captain of this flight, I'm your whole crew. And William and I were talking about this earlier because he loves the characters. I can be the pilot, I'm the flight attendant when things get a little turbulent, and I put the blanket, give you the champagne, have you calm down. I also can help direct where your business goes, and a lot of the times I'm the passenger as well. So that's a little bit about me. From a personal perspective, I worked privately with hundreds of business owners and spoken to thousands. And my mission is to fast track business owners. I want business owners to get to that next level of success so that they can increase their clarity, confidence, and obviously the profits too, okay? So what I want for you in this session today is to stop winging it in your business and have a plan and own your worth, right? It's important that we own our worth so that you can maximize your profits, you're not undercharging, and you really feel good about the money you're making. All right, love this quote. Who's ever seen this one? This sums up perfectly how I feel about annual plans. If you don't know where you're going, every road will lead you there. And that's by Lewis Carroll. You know, when I hear that quote, I often think, yeah, like sometimes it's cool to not have a plan, right? Like, you know, my family and I like to road trip and we'll go do that. And that's fun, that's part of the adventure. But then sometimes we have a very specific destination we're gonna go to. And in that case, we have a very specific itinerary. What I know for sure is when you put an itinerary in place for your business, especially for the year, you're gonna be moved to make those goals happen a lot easier than changing along the way, because shiny object syndrome and all that stuff kicks in. All right, so tell me in the chat, I'm curious, because we always have two camps. People are either planners or they're like, I'm good, right? So in the chat and maybe in the room, like, you know, and it's okay, there's no right or wrong answer. But if you're a planner, will you raise your hand? You like to plan things? Okay. And then not planner? Just like to roll with it? You're both? Okay. It depends on the circumstance.
I have to plan.
You have to plan. I know, I'm a planner.
I don't know if I enjoy it.
Yeah, right?
That's the part about it is not enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. So from a planning, I'm a psychotic planner, like give me the plan, and I always think you give smart people, and I give my clients, they're super smart. When you give them a plan they feel good and confident about, the sky's the limit, right? And then I have some people who I work with a lot of creatives, and they're like, oh, plans, I like to be able to roll with it. So anyway, but what I can promise you, if you're not a planner, you're gonna get even more results by doing this stuff today. So why an annual profit plan? I'm a data person as well, so I'm sounding really fun, but I am. So when I looked for research and data, I found that the University of Scranton did research, and 92% of people don't achieve their goals. 92%, right? And I want you to be in the top 8% because you have the plan. So the main difference is the people who may have a goal, they haven't taken the time to write it down or think it through. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've met that it's like, if you just take simply 20 minutes to plan, you're gonna be so much further along than everyone else. So it really is a secret. So why does it really matter to have a profit plan? Well, a plan is significantly gonna help you achieve your goals. You know, 92%, no thanks, we don't wanna be in that group. It gives you clarity on where to focus your time, energy, and money. Right? I mean, I don't know about you, but as a business owner, there's always something hot, right? And then we're fighting fires as opposed to driving the strategy. And when you have a plan, it's a key strategy. It also helps keep you on track to move in the right direction when shiny object syndrome kicks in, right? There's always a new hot, sexy way to market your business or close sales or do something. When you just always go back to your plan, it just is like that North Star that keeps you where you need to go. And what's really cool is it allows you to have mini wins. So we take an annual plan, chunk it into quarters, and I really focused in right now, it's all about Q1. And then we know based on Q1 results, do you need to shift Q2, 3, 4, right? So you can have these mini wins and celebrations that you're on the right track. Cool? All right, so in the chat, I'm curious, have you done an annual profit plan before? Any type of annual plan? Yeah, you have?
I will tell you, our Zoom attendees, 3 or 4 of them have come back and said they are planners.
They're planners.
And Kelly has shared that she has had military grade operation plans just to hold a Christmas party. And Cecilia says that as a former educator and speech coach that she always had to have a plan. There were very few days that she didn't.
Nice. And having a plan just makes you, when you hop out of bed, throw your feet down, you're like, I know what I need to do today. And I'll never forget leaving the corporate world. I used to do corporate consulting. And, you know, it was like the day after I left my corporate job, it was like, you know, I rolled out of bed and I'm like, what do I do today? Now that my business, what do I do? I don't have someone telling me what I need to do. So yeah, so when you have the plan, to me, it's a replacement for what should I be doing? So yeah, so have you done a profit plan or an annual plan, or sat down to do any planning, vision boarding, anything like that? Anyone in here? Maybe a couple people? Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do here today, all right? So I'm gonna walk you through the process. It's a 4-step process to do your annual profit plan. And for those who have the workbooks, you can pull it up, you can open yours up here in the room, and you'll see how we're gonna work through this. So profit planning is a system, and I just wanted to take everything out of my brain and put it in a workbook for you so it's easier. Okay.
You said it's in the
Yeah, so probably it'll start in page number 1 will be the first part where you can start writing it, okay? So
Page 5, right?
Page 5, is that page?
Yeah.
So on page 5, and we'll go deeper into this, this is just the overview, but I want to show you the journey that we're going to go on. The first thing we're going to do is reflect on the past, right? And there's going to be some things that may come up that feel a little scary and icky, and that's okay, but we're going to use that to our benefit. I want you to take time to reflect on the past so we can make better decisions for 2021, right? So many times, you know, I'll get a client, and one of the first things I like to ask them is, okay, where were you revenue-wise last year, and where do you want to be this year? And sometimes I get, well, you know, I made $250,000 last year, I want to make $3.5 million this year. I'm like, okay, like we got to feel good that this is doable, right? I'm not saying it's not, but I like to kind of be able to figure that out, right? But then I also get some people, it's like, I made $250, I'd love to make $300, right? It's like, okay, well, let's go higher than that. So I have to know how to push people and how to bring them back in. The second step in the planning process is we're going to create your future year. So we are going to state your 2021 goals in a way that's measurable, and more importantly, it feels doable. Because the one way to get you to stop with the plan is to have it feel overwhelming, right? So I want it to be doable, but I want it to be a bit of a stretch. And that's the intersection where you feel both nervous about it, but also excited. So you gotta have both emotions in order for it to be right. The third step in the profit planning process is we're gonna break down the annual goals into quarters, right? And we're gonna look at those stops that you need to make along the way so that you can actually reach the destination. So we're gonna take the big goal, we're gonna break it down. The last thing is about taking action now. So my goal for you is that you at least have a small checklist by the time this is done of the actions and the tasks that you need to do in order to get rolling on Q1, right? So that's kind of this is the journey that we're gonna take, and now we're just gonna dig in on the individuals, okay? So step 1, reflecting on the past. Let's take a look at where you have been. Do we have any, this is 2021 brand new business owners? Does everybody at least have some data from last year to draw upon? Okay. If you, even if you just started your business in 2021, you can think back to when you were thinking about starting the business, right? So when we're looking at the past, we want to say, where have you been? We want to reflect on what went really well in 2020. I also want you to reflect on who supported you in your business and who didn't. Because honestly, it's going to be time. I want you to really do some deep thinking on moving those people out who do not support you. Because it's exhausting and draining. We're going to, right? I'm thinking of a couple. And then the third thing, I want you to reflect on your projected and actual revenue and profit for 2020, right? So there's a lot more detail in the workbook, but for sake of the workshop here, you know, I would like for you to at least write in or type in, what was your projected revenue in 2020, right? No one else is seeing this, that's fine, but just put that number out there. If you didn't have one, you know what, this is gonna be that much more valuable because we're gonna make you put one for 2021. And more importantly, not more importantly, but also just as important, how much did you pay yourself in 2020? What salary did you give you? Not just draws, but like a monthly or weekly, however you wanna do it. Because that's what we have to do in business. And when I did an internal survey with a lot of business owners, a majority of people don't pay themselves a regular salary. And we need to do that because it's just a psychology tip, but when you will make in your business at least the expenses that you have going out. You might as well count yourself, okay? All right, so tell me in the chat, I don't wanna know your numbers, but I wanna know, how do your 2020 numbers make you feel? Do they make you feel excited? Do they make you feel bummed? Do they make you, like, all this stuff has to be tied to feelings, or we're not gonna be able to project out for 2021, right? And, and hopeful maybe, but like type, feel free to type in the chat, how do they make you feel? Because 2020 is over, now it's about 2021, so now we can change those feelings, okay? So how do they make you feel?
I've got some results coming in here.
Okay, you wanna share?
Yeah, so we have one, motivated for more in 2020.
Yes, I like it.
So I get, most people just, I think, off the top of our head think, oh, everybody had a terrible 2020, but that's not the case.
No, there's plenty of business opportunities that came in 2020.
We had another one that says, very excited, I tripled my business in 2020.
Nice.
Another one says that her numbers motivate her about her potential,
Cool.
and they feel like that they're going to make $1 million. So
Good deal.
So we have some pretty good optimism here
Yeah.
from our online
I love
attendees.
I love it. Cool. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing and being authentic about it. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of, I hate using the word because it's so cliche, but pivoting that had to happen in 2020, even for me personally. My whole business model was based on live in-person events. And then everything now I've had to shift to be online. So it's been, but I'm glad and grateful now because I kind of like the online world stuff too, There's no substitution for cheat to cheat, right? But there's something fun about the online. All right, looking at step 2, we're gonna create your future year. This is gonna be taking the time to identify where you're gonna go with your business. And by declaring it and writing it and typing it down, it more than doubles your chance for success, okay? All right, so where are you going? So based on what you know for 2020, I want you to declare your revenue, your profit, and your salary for 2021, right? And even if that number, if it feels comfortable to say, you know what, I'm gonna increase it by 50%, if I'm gonna double it, if I'm going to stay the same, if I'm whatever, just put your number down for how much money you're gonna take, revenue, how much you're gonna pay yourself, right? I gave myself a raise. You can give yourself a raise, that's cool. You're the boss. And also from a profit standpoint. I know plenty of multi-million-dollar companies out there, or business owners, just because they're making millions doesn't mean they're more profitable than you, right? At a 6-figure mark. So profit being your revenue minus your expenses, okay? So once you declare that, then it's about setting your #1 business goal for 2021, #1. And what is so interesting, because I know there's a lot of overwhelm in being a business owner. Whenever I feel that overwhelm, I roll up. Like whatever I'm quote unquote stressed about, I roll it up. And whenever I'm needing to know what's next or what I should be doing, I roll it down. Does that make sense? So like your #1 business goal for 2021 should be something that's rolled up, that if you hit this one goal, everything else is gonna align in itself. So it could be number-based. It could be, for me, it's about serving 100 new clients. So I put a metric to it, but it's not necessarily money-based, but I want to impact 100 lives, right? That feels good to me. So what's your #1 goal? Then the third thing, you get to decide how you want to feel for 2021. So, sounds online, we have a lot of optimistic, whatever. How do you want to continue to feel? Or how do you want to change how you feel? And then the last thing I think is really important is understanding what skills you need to master this year so that you can hit your number one goal. What skills? We always need to learn, so it's good to know that. So you can go back and finish all the things in the workbook, but if you can at least state how much revenue you're gonna make in 2021, write that in, what you will pay yourself in 2021 as well. I'm curious, you said probably, yeah, okay. So I'm curious about this. So we talked about how you felt in 2020 or how you felt about it. How do you want to feel in 2021, right? So let's tie the goal to a feeling, and that makes it more impactful. So I'm curious, how do you want to feel in 2021? I want to feel relieved. You know, I want to feel a sense of relief. What? Accomplished. Fulfillment. I love that. Anyone else?
Excitement.
Excitement. Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. So we want to, how do you want to feel? And another thing I think would be interesting is to understand everyone's number one business goal too. Because it's one of these things that I promise, if you declare it and you're comfortable sharing it, it all of a sudden becomes more real, right? I shared mine. I want to serve 100 more entrepreneurs this year, 100 new entrepreneurs. Anyone else want to be brave enough and share their main goal for 2021?
I've got one online here.
Okay.
Cecilia says that she wants to feel like she has helped double, I guess, the number of people that she's impacted.
Nice.
So kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
she's measuring hers in, you know, people touched and people
Yep.
affected, maybe more than a bottom line profit
Yep.
number.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Thank you. I love that. I mean, for me, I like thinking of my clients as people, and I know money's important. Trust me, like I get it. I'm a business strategist. You know, we gotta make money in our business, but it's not my main driver and motivator. So I have some way that I work with people at like a $3,000 level, and then a way that I work with people at $18,000. So I'm not as much tied to having 100 people at 18,000 that I am 100 people that I can help make a difference. That's what works for me because that's my personality type. If this were my husband up here, he would say something totally different. It'd be much more profit driven. Okay, so you got to do what works for you.
So to that point, another one of our members has said that she wants to make a full-time salary for myself and my husband in our business. She says that they make a ton right now, but they're not keeping a lot of it.
Yes, okay, and that's very, very common. And and if you want to talk, like at the end, I'm going to give you a link to share so we can talk. I can help you with that. That's something I see happen quite a bit. Is there's a method that we can do to help you keep more of your money. So, which is always a good thing. Because I think when we first start, it's a lot of expenses going out, and we have to take control of that and keep more, right? So, all right, cool. I have this previous traveler tip, which is also in the workbook. But, you know, one of the things I say all the time is to be your own best customer. And so often we will bend over backwards to help other people, especially our customers, but we don't show up for ourselves the same way that we show up for everyone else. So I want to give you that permission to be your own best customer. And by being here today and being online, being in the room, you're doing that. You're showing up for you. And so kudos for that. Yeah, I want you to think big, but you also need to do a gut check, right? It's that nervous and excitement intersection, which is really important for you to hit your goals. We don't need to understand the how right now. And for me, like I have a computer science degree, so it's like I instantly I see things like, you know, a computer program, and I have to understand the how. But once I let go of the how and just determine the what needs to happen, it's really cool how all that other stuff works itself out. Okay. All right. Step 3. We're going to now break down that annual into quarters. Okay. These are the stops that we need to make to reach our destination. So what stops do we need? And so in my case, remember I have my 100. So it makes sense, just as easy math. I serve 25 people in quarter 1, 25 people in quarter 2, 25 in quarter 3, 25. And it's kind of a simple math. I may look at it and say, you know what? You know, while we're still recovering from COVID, you know, I'm just going to do 15 now, but I'll do 35, you know, and then you can change the math. But you want to really take that big goal and break it into quarterly, okay? And one thing This is also true for men, so I have 30 left, or
You're at 30.
I'm at 30, okay, cool, thank you. This is also true for men as well, so I'm glad we have men in the room. Self-care is really important for you to take care of yourself so that you can achieve your goals. And self-care doesn't always mean, you know, getting the massages and exercising and running and doing all the things. Sometimes self-care is really just having boundaries around yourself. And it could be that customer that is asking for too much or asking for discounts and you say no. I mean, it could be, you know, the family member who's trying to, you know, hold you back and not let you, you know, do the work that you need to do as well. So self-care is taking care of yourself, right? Very important. And then I want you to break your revenue goal into quarterly goals as well. So that really is like when we chunk it down, it feels more manageable and doable.
Is it as simple as just dividing by 4 or?
Yeah, that's the first thing you can divide by 4. In a lot of cases, businesses are cyclical, and as long if you know your sales cycle, you can adjust it for that. So, you know, in my case, one time I had a retail store. We did almost $1 million a year. But I also know May was big, October, November, December, we did half our sales. So mine would look a little different. January one year, we had a negative month. That was so sad. We had more returns than new. So yeah, so you can kind of adjust based on your cycle. All right, so your mini exercise, if you can at least write in what your top business goal is for Q1. What's your top business goal? Roll it down, so it should feel, if mine's 100, serve 100 customers, it would be 25 or 20, or it's a chunk of that, right? What's your, and how much revenue will you bring in Q1? And then you can divide that by 3, obviously, to get your monthly targets. So it's about declaring that. All right. This is important for sure. So, because I want you to think of yourself too. What is your #1 self-care goal that you're going to do in Q1? What is something you're going to do for yourself? You know, exercise, lose some weight.
Yes.
You got like the COVID pounds. I know, I feel it too.
COVID has brought a lot of snacks.
A lot of snacks. Cut back on the COVID snacks. I got it. That's awesome. I'm curious in the go ahead.
William, no more Tuesday snacks.
No more Tuesday. No more tacos.
Skip my office.
Skip my office.
That's awesome. What are some other things? And you can think outside the box, and if you you know, need some suggestions on things, it's like, let me know. It's one of the first things that I put in place, because when I work with entrepreneurs, they are high achievers and they want to go faster. So I'm like, okay, the first thing you need to do is you're working, you know, 16 hours a day and sleeping for like 4. You feel like you're ignoring your family, this and that. So we got to come up with a way for you to be able to still be productive in your business, but not have it, but be able to like balance the stuff, right? So any other ideas for self-care?
Yeah, we've got some great ones here online. Kelly, who I want to meet Kelly because she's cracking me up all day. She wants to go roller skating every week just for fun.
Kelly's my friend, and she bought some vintage or some skates, and I see her out roller skating on her basketball court. Yeah.
And then Astrid says that she wants to successfully coach and mentor her team,
Cool.
so then she can step away from the transactional and focus on growing strategically. So
Smart.
taking
Yeah.
care of herself from
Yep.
both a professional and well as a business perspective, and helping others.
Yeah, and that's Astrid.
That's
So
Astrid.
Astrid, so one really cool idea is one thing you can also do. So to take care of your team, you can find out what they value from a self-care perspective too. And then you can put incentives in place. Hey, if we hit our Q1 big goal, you get a gift certificate to go to the spa. You'll get this and that. You'll get the day off. You'll get, you know, and you can like tie that in, because when they're less stressed, you're less stressed, and you can create a system around that, which is really cool.
And you can appreciate this. Cecilia would like to do more travel.
More travel.
Yeah, grandkids to Disney, and she says she leads travel groups, so.
Yep. Oh, yeah, but I'm dying to travel. Yeah, I agree. That is the best self-care. I love Sedona. You go to Sedona and you just go in, and it's like, just helps you relax immediately. Cool. Anyone else here have any ideas for what they're going to do for themselves? Anyone gonna like move some people out of their life
Mhm.
that are negative?
Yes.
We're gonna
Yes.
say, you have permission to do that.
Amen.
You have the microphone.
He's like, it's being recorded. No.
Not true.
It's a whole other seminar.
That self-care goal, like you said earlier,
Yeah.
some people, when you said earlier, you said, you have to establish some boundaries.
Yeah,
You do, you have to establish some boundaries with people and let them know, okay, this is where you're invading my space,
Yep.
and I'm not going to
Yeah.
partake in that, so.
stay in our lanes, right?
I wanna say this, there was a voicemail that I listened to one time, and it was a new year, and the lady said on her voicemail, it's a brand new year, and I'm making some changes.
Good.
If you don't receive a call back from me, that's one of the changes.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Aren't you one of the ones that came to the work well to get away from your family?
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm with you on that one.
Get away from your boundaries and the distractions.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. You know what? I can see that even on an email auto response.
Mhm.
You know, because what I was bad at in the corporate world was someone would send me something and I took such pride on immediate responses. Finally, my CDO pulled me aside and she said, Tara, you know what you're doing? You're training them on how to treat you. And I was like,
Right.
no, I'm being like super efficient and look at, you know, she's like, no, you're training them on how to treat you. And I was like, you're right. So I even have some friends now that will actually, when they hit reply, they time it out. So it goes out either sometimes the next day, 3 hours later, so that you're not training people on how to treat you. Because the minute you want to like take the afternoon off, something's hot, right? It's the way it goes. So yeah, so it's good. Thank you for sharing your self-care goals. All right, the last step is to take action now. We can have all the plans in the world, but if you're not moving, nothing's gonna happen. All right, so what do you need to accomplish? In order to get moving, the first thing you need to do is look at all the things and just consider it. And sometimes, 99% of the time, this stuff does not happen. But if you pre-think all the things that could get in your way to hit your Q1 goal, it's amazing how just by anticipating it, you can block and tackle a lot easier. All right, so look at those things that could get in your way. No one would have ever expected there'd be a pandemic last year. You better believe that's on everyone's list this year, right? So let's think of those things, brainstorm those. And then you want to determine what you need in place to accomplish your Q1 goals. And it could be people, it could be tools, it could be something you need to learn, but things may need to be in place in order for you to fully accomplish it. And we want to determine the help that you need to accomplish your goals too. What kind of help you need. And then create a to-do list. It's that simple. Like if I'm gonna serve 25 people, what do I need to do that? Right? So from a mini exercise place, I wanna give you some time and space to be your own best customer. Write in the workbook, what are some things, and we can brainstorm it. What are some things that could get in the way for Q1 for you to hit your goals? I mean, there's always the, what is it, the B's, you know, divorce, disease, death type of thing. That could, you know, those are always something that would rock your world a little bit. You know, the pandemic, travel restrictions, maybe your employee, one of your best employees leaves. You know, you have a business partner that steals from you. I mean, there's a million things. What were you saying?
I said yourself.
Yourself? Yeah. Yeah. How many times do we get in our own way? We're sometimes our biggest enemy. But there's things you can work on. If you feel that that's going to be a thing, you got to work on that. Because that's easy to fix once you understand how. What are some other things that could get in your way?
Emergencies, distractions.
Emergencies, yeah. Shiny object, competition. Oh, yeah, big time. I mean, look at what's happening with social. I mean, you know, no one thought a Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, they were the giants, and now all these social media companies are popping up like crazy. Competition. It's a good one, really good one. Is there anything online, William?
Let me see, well, kind of, I had COVID hangover, somebody said you can actually get COVID.
Getting COVID, absolutely.
COVID, being sick,
Yeah,
because I mean, that in itself typically is a 2 to 3 week at minimum process of being away, and
yeah.
so.
And then having to have a backup plan for how do your customers still get served if you're not feeling it and whatnot, yeah. I mean, for mine was, I did masterminds in person, so it's like, okay, what could get in the way? Well, travel restrictions, so we need to be virtual, so, yeah. That's good. And then what or who do you need in place in Q1? So what help do you need to accomplish your Q1 goals? What help do you need? I mean, is it like, and I would say if you don't need any help and then your Q1 goals aren't big enough. If you feel like I can do this, then like what can we do to push it a little bit? What help do you need to accomplish your Q1 goals? It may be, for me, something that was important was, I have a lot of clients who, they say they want one thing, I want this goal, I'm gonna do this, but then their actions don't reflect that. But then they're still like, no, I want that. So it's like there's something in the mindset that's holding them back. So I was like, you know what? I've tried to partner with people that, specialize in this stuff to help clients and whatnot. I'm like, you know what? I think I need to be the person that understands how to help it. I need that tool in my toolbox. So that's why I'm getting NLP certified.
I want to say something. I think a lot of that has to do with laziness. They want it and they don't
They don't want to do the work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see it a lot.
Yeah. It's like, we gotta work. We know this. Entrepreneurs, we can't just sit here and like, I know we have like our own, what people think we do, right? But then what really needs to happen. All right. So in wrapping up, if you're stuck in creating a plan that's best for you and getting you into action, it's okay. This is my space. I will help you come up with something that really is doable. If you want to schedule a 30-minute fast track session with me privately, you just go to my website, terrabohlmann.com. So it's Terra Bohlmann with 2 N's. My husband's family's German, so they have that extra N, which throws me off. So I own Terra Bohlmann, but like to really get to this link, /apply. And then you answer a quick questionnaire. It's confidential between us. Then we'll hop on a 30-minute call and I'll help you figure out some things. No cost. I'm not a sales pitch. It's straight up service. Because I believe that, if I can help anyone, that's what I'm here for. And until my business is so crazy busy that I can't talk one-on-one with business owners, I'm going to continue to do these. Okay? Here was the stay till the end bonus. So if you didn't download your workbook, terrabohlmann.com/theworkwell. It's a link to my Google Drive. You can download, print it, work it out, all that kind of stuff. Cool.
And that link is in the chat box.
Awesome.
Terrific.
All right, and then I have, some Q&A. I'm here for you.
Excellent. Let me, I'm going to switch my screen here so I can kind of get a little bit better look at what we're doing. All right.
So I'm curious, is planning that painful? It's not that painful when you just answer questions, right? And apply it to you. Super simple.
Okay, so yeah, we are getting a few questions coming in from our audience, and I also have a couple of questions as well. I'm going to start off with the question that I had. So when we first started talking, you mentioned that using sort of, your historical performance in the past is important to see, your profit predictability. How do you incorporate an unusual, unique, and kind of wacky year like 2020 to make sure, to either allow for that to skew your numbers, or you say, hey, this is the anomaly? How do you take 2020 into account?
I would take it into account, knowing, first quarter still may be a little off. I've seen a big shift. Things get started and quote unquote get back to normal, just from serving, if you're business to business type of thing. So I would look at 2019 as a baseline, and then take any anomalies of 2020 and kind of factor that in. That's what I would do. But I would look at a year before.
Okay, very good.
Or if you want to get really specific, you could take a 3-year average.
Okay.
The power of threes.
Power of 3.
Yeah.
And that three years is typically gives you a good indication of where you are, either in growth or if you're stagnant, what you need to do to. Okay.
But if you want to all of a sudden, so say you were 100,000, 200,000, and then 100,000, last year or something like that, and your goal is, 250 or 300, it's that's totally fine. You just have to really get clear on those questions around what's going to be different this year than 2019, or my highest year, right? And it may be I need to hire a salesperson. It may be, whatever it is, it's something has to shift. So raise your prices. There's all kinds of things that can happen. Good question, though.
Thank you. All right, question from the audience,
Okay.
one of our audience members. Let me see, find it. So Kelly says that she loves your 3 things a day plan. Will you explain how we can use this in our planning, just kind of overall?
What was the first part of the question?
That she loves your 3 things a day plan.
Oh,
Will
3
you
things a
explain-
day,
Yeah,
yeah.
will you explain how that can be used in the creation of our planning?
Sure. So 3 things, I hope I get this right for you, Kelly. But so I'm a big person of, we don't have to do a million things a day because that's what keeps us at the office till 10 o'clock at night. We just need to have 3 things we do a day. Like when you get up, make your list of the 3 things you're no matter what gonna get done today. Some days it's 3 big things. Sometimes it's 1 big thing and 2 little things. On Sunday, mine was literally, fold some clothes from the dryer, take a 2.5-mile walk, and go to the grocery store. I mean, but it was like I knew I was gonna need to get those 3 things done. Sometimes it's, write an email sequence. Sometimes it may be following up with 10 prospects. It could, whatever. But you come up with 3 things. So if planning feels overwhelming for you, then maybe your 3 things are, one of the 3 things for the day is, go through section 1. Tomorrow, go through section 2. Next day, go through 3 and 4. Like you can break it up because some people really need to sit and think, and that's okay, and you should. And some people can hammer this stuff out really fast. So you can just break it down into smaller tasks for sure. Does that answer your question? I'm looking.
Yeah, I think she's kind of giving us yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I guess everybody's a little bit different, but is there kind of a good timeline that you should set for yourself throughout the course of the year, reminders and things to be able to come in and check your progress?
Yeah.
When you should be making these adjustments, when you should be continuing on paths that are successful. Is there kind of a good classic timeline for that for the year?
Good question. I'm going to tell you what everyone would tell you, and then I'll tell you what is probably more realistic. So monthly, right? Because your whole goal is you want to have a bookkeeper or somebody, processing like all your income expenses at the end of every month. So at the beginning of the next month, you can take a look at, see how you did this month, this past month, and how to adjust for next month, right? Monthly is ideal. If you can do quarterly, you're going to be ahead of a lot more small business owners. I mean, if you look at like big companies, and again, I have the corporate consulting background, I mean, they're doing these on a sometimes weekly basis, if not more, right? There's a CFO dedicated to probably looking at the dashboard daily, if not hourly, right? So that they can adjust. If we can just add it to our to-do list monthly, awesome. If you can at least do quarterly, that's better than nothing, right? But don't wait till next tax season to then be like, oh, I thought I made more than that, right? Let's not wait. So.
Very good.
And how I solved that, because I was like, my husband's like, I'll help you in your business. I'll do your bookkeeping. And I was like, okay. And I have a full-time job, but he likes finance, whatever. And then I had to fire him because I was like, dude, you're like 3 months behind. So then I hired a bookkeeping company, and I can log in right now and see where things are. So it's cool. Yeah.
That story kind of leads into more of a comment from one of our attendees online saying that she believes it's great advice to not overwhelm yourself, which she does regularly. She says, even though my brain still thinks I'm 29, my body often objects.
Right.
So, just like your husband, maybe not enough time to devote to trying to do your finances because he's taking on too much stuff. So I guess that could be a goal. Most people would think it's counterproductive to make a goal to, take things off of your plate.
Take things off the plate.
That actually can be a very important goal for a lot of people. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you can look at your to-do list and go, will someone die if I don't do this, right? And sometimes it's like, that's how intense it has to be. And then you're like, you know what, the world's not gonna end if I don't make my Instagram post today. The world's not gonna end if I, do that work that I was supposed to do when I'm doing it tomorrow. Or sometimes it's like, do I really need to do this? You can either delete or delegate it to someone else. There's plenty of VA services out there. My VA is $250 a month. And I mean, I'm a person that's like, well, if it's gonna be done right, I need to do it, But we also have to look at what are the other things I need to be doing in my business that are high value that only I can do. So, so sometimes it is a matter of deleting. Kelly is one of my friends, and she's one of the friends that'll just tell it to me straight. And the best advice, she's given me a lot of great advice, but she's the friend that's like, I'm like, Kelly, I can't believe this is happening. Why does this keep happening to me? And she's like, Tara, it's gonna keep happening to you until you learn your lesson. And I was like, oh yeah, that hurt, you know, but it's true. Yeah. I mean, she's like, if things will continue to happen, we'll continue to be stressed out. People will steal your stuff, you know, clients will try to break your contracts. They're going to do that as long until you've learned how to shift your behavior so you don't attract that anymore. So that was like one of the best advice that she had given me. I was like, you're right. So, yep.
This may be more on a just kind of personal, person-to-person type of, it's a personal answer, but somebody asked, do you have any advice on how you can motivate yourself to go out when the weather is gloomy and you're in the darkness of winter? It's just like, you know, it's the toughest time of year to kind of motivate yourself to get going.
Yeah.
What are some things that you can do?
That's a good question. You know, and a place that if you are a high achiever, I just want to give you the permission that sometimes if you don't feel like doing it, you don't have to do it. Like you can give yourself a mental health break. We are running the business. And there's been days where I'm like, here's my to-do list, but oh, it's raining and I just want to read in bed and whatever. You know what, just do it. Like if it's not going to negatively impact or you're not going to be able to serve your customers or do something, it's okay to do that because we have an option. You can make it up on Saturday if you wanted to. You can, you know, work an extra hour tomorrow. You have to go with how you feel. And then, you know, sometimes we do have those down days. So if you want to do it, it's probably like, it's real advice, but it's probably not the best quote unquote performance advice. But sometimes we just need to honor our feelings. But otherwise, some things that you could do, and this would be great, like, cause I'm curious what everyone else does. So, you know, for me, I switch my environment. So if I'm not feeling motivated, it's a great time to come to the work well and come co-work here, change your environment, go work out of a different place. Instead of working in your home office, go work at your kitchen table. Put some music on, dance, be silly, go to the gym, do something to get, you know, your endorphins up. Or, you know, if you want to just say, you know what, I'm not feeling it, I'm going to take a couple hours this morning and binge watch my, you know, whatever Netflix I wanted to catch up on, just do it because then you'll get back into it later. Yeah.
Excellent. So my last question to you is, this is all really awesome for, you know, the profitability for your business. Have you, or are you in the process of maybe creating a similar type of workbook, maybe for like personal growth, personal planning?
That's a great idea. Yeah, I'll have to have someone email me that idea. Yeah, no, I should, and I probably will after for me, like I'm going through my certification process to get, to do this thing called timeline therapy, NLP, and hypnosis to be able to help some of my clients. And I think as I finalize that certification in March, I'm going to feel more apt to be able to feel qualified to teach that type of thing. I'm that type of person. Like I need somebody to certify me as okay. If not, I don't want to hurt anyone. So, but yeah, it's a really good idea. So I should do that.
Well, I mean, obviously you can take some of the things that you have in this workbook right here and you can apply them towards, you know, personal growth, you know, family finances, things like that. So,
well, I mean, one thing I say all the time, and check out my podcast if you ever want to hear stuff like this, but it's like, if you ever want to know all your personal insecurities as a human being, open a business because they will all come flying up. So it's just as much a personal development journey as it is a business journey. So, yeah.
Well, it's 12:57, so thank you so much. We're going to kind of wrap up here. Do you have any other final?
No, thank you again to the Workwell. Thank you for everyone being here in person. Thank you for the Jimmy. We have Jimmy John's. So thank you for the food and thank you for everyone on attendance. And if you do want to schedule a consult, I would love to chat with you. So.
Yeah, well, like I said, when we first started, everybody, we will be following up with an email with a link to the video of the presentation, as well as to all of the links to contact with Tara via the chat box that we've also shared today, including that really awesome workbook. So Please feel free to take one last look at the chat box before we end for that information. And that is going to end our presentation. So, after navigating a year unlike any we've actually ever experienced here for any of us, most of us are kind of ready to get back to, what a normal year looks like. And part of that, I think, is going to be refocusing on the pursuit of profit and business growth. And it's even more important than ever. So thank you for sharing your thoughts, your tips, your time, your workbook with us. It's really appreciated. And that's going to wrap up our session. As a reminder, if you joined late, the chat does have a lot of the information that was discussed during the presentation. The links have been reposted. There are also links to the WorkWell's Facebook page, so you can see our upcoming events. I'm going to do a quick plug for our February Lunch and Learn, which is going to be a tax tips that everyone should know for 2021. Our tax professionals that are WorkWell members are going to be leading a Q&A panel discussion. It's been one of our most popular. In fact, I think you may have participated in or been an attendee at one of them in the past. It's been one of our most popular events, and that's going to be on February the 10th, once again, noon until 1 o'clock. That'll be a completely virtual tax panel roundtable. So I look forward to having everybody join us for that. Once again, thanks again. Happy New Year. Let's make it a great 2021, and let's be sure to plan for that profitability. We'll see you again soon.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, nice meeting you.